So yesterday I told us to do some CSS stuff, right? And many of us did it. Did we do it? Can you hear me? Okay. So let's try to complete the CSS. All the other things that we've not done. But I'll pick up forms now. I'll also get to see website layout, right? So I'll explain the forms and the layout before we go today. So okay, I'll do that after the class. So let's just start. Before the class ends, I'll see what I want to see. So for the form, you can remember that the last time we did what? HTML form, right? And we got to create a form. So to look for an HTML form, it can be improved by your CSS, right? So in this case, you can see that now this one looks better than the normal just HTML form without the CSS. Now you get to write your name, the last name, and there's a backdrop. You choose between maybe Canada and you submit it, right? So you can see how they styled it. They were specific with their inputs. They said input type text for their text. They say you should have width of 100%, padding, margin, display, inline block. You know what the inline block does, right? It helps you combine both the inline and the block display attributes together so you can achieve what you want. Then border 1 pixel, and they gave it the color. Then we have border radius and the likes. So we can see how they styled the HTML forms. So your styling input field, you can use the width property to determine the width of the input field, right? So this is an example. So if you want to get a full width, you put your input, right? And you have a width of 100 percentage. And don't forget that I said 100 percentage covers the whole screen. Is what you use for a full width. So the example also applies to all input elements. So if you want to specify a specific input element, that is when you now use the attribute selectors. There's something called attribute selectors. So you can use your attributes to what? As selectors in your CSS. You know, earlier on, we've seen how you can use your simple selectors. You've seen pseudo, right? We've seen pseudo, we've seen inputs, we've seen pseudo elements. So there's something also called attribute selector. We've seen combinators, and the combinators include child rather, not children, child. We have our sibling, adjacent sibling, general sibling, and descendants. We looked at that yesterday. So you can also use a selector, and we all know what a selector is. A selector is how we style our HTML elements, right? It's what we use to style our HTML elements. It can be a element, it can be an attribute, it can be a class, it can be an ID. So these inputs now, by you putting your attributes in the inputs selector, you're specifying the attributes you want to use. In this case, they said text, type equals to text. So any place where you have type equals to X, that particular design will be used. Or when you see type equals to password, only the password field, and likewise number. So you can have padded inputs. You use padded inputs using your property to add space inside the text field, right? Where you have many, please can you mute yourself? It's distracting. So when you have many inputs after each other, you might also want to add some margin to add more space outside of them. You can remember from box model, I taught us the 5-box model properties. What are the 5-box model properties? Anybody?
We have the padding, the margin, the border, the content, and
the content is the one that includes the width and the height, right? The content encompasses the width and the height. Yes. So which one out of all of those is specifically for spacing? Out of those properties in the box model, which one is particularly for spacing, to add space? Anybody? Thank you for that, Lovett, for answering the former question. So who wants to answer now?
Padding is for spacing inside the border. The margin is for spacing outside the border, like between the border and the end of the system browser, like.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's just those two that you can use for your words. Just those two you can use for your spacing. All right, thank you so much, Lovett. So you can use the padding properties to add space inside.
Sorry, please, I have a question.
All right.
Okay, so you see, when you're creating the Facebook login page, to ask for either your email or phone number, and you see in the inputs attribute you have email and telephone. So I was wondering if there's a way you can combine the two of them, like in one input.
So if you want to combine two of them in one input, I guess you just put type text, right? You not specify, because it's going to actually still take a text, but the text may be in number form or in a Gmail. But there's a way they would have been doing that, maybe to add more security, right? So that you'll be sure that is an image you're putting, and you'll be sure that it's a Gmail that you're typing, and they'll be sure that it's a telephone. But I'm not exactly sure. But I know that you can also use text, right?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. So note that we have set the box sizing property to border box. This makes sure that the padding and eventually borders are included in the total width and height of the elements. Check our box sizing. Consider that to understand that better. Then we have bordered inputs. So your border property is to change your border size and color. And border radius is for rounded. We spent a lot of time on that, so we know that already. So colored input, this is just like adding color, background color and color to your text, right? Then we have focused inputs. By default, some browsers will add a blue outline around the inputs when it gets focus clicked on. So you can remove this behavior by adding outline none to the input. So we also have inputs with icon / image. There are some people that will have maybe an image or an icon in it. So there's a way you can achieve that, right? So can you see this search? You can see the search there, right? So if you want an icon inside the input, you can use your background image property and position it with background position property. And notice that we add a large left padding to reserve the space of the icon. So can you see the code they use? They use background image and they use this URL. So can you see that? Then there's also animated search input. So this ones you use it from your transition properties, right? To animate the width of the search input when it gets focused. There's also styling text areas. You know how text areas are, right? And where it can be. So you can use that to style your text area. There's also styling select menus. If you want to select, you do a drop down to select your menus. There's also styling input button. You can style your input buttons. Then there's also responsive form, right? that when you use your responsive phone, whatever web page you use it on is going to what? It's going to reduce. Let me show you. This one is bigger, right? And this one is small. So can you see? So no matter how wide or how large or how big your form is still going to like behave itself and act normal because of the responsivity. So I also said I was going to emphasize on website layout. So your website layout is often divided into headers, menus, content, and a footer, right? So it just basically helps you like identify that, okay, this is where your header will be, this is where your nav bar will be, then your content. You can have 1 column, 2 column, 3 column. So you can come here and use the format from this if you are going to do websites that are like this, right? Then we have unequal. Then we also have our footer. I didn't even put emphasis on the footer website, but well, before this class comes to an end, I'll show you an example of one. So can you see this one? Can you see this website, right? So if you resize the website, you see the effects. So this one is bigger and this one is smaller. But for the website we created earlier today is not responsive yet. So one of the assignments is to make it responsive, right? Then the second assignment is to do your CSS for your HTML. And I'll also tell us more of the exercise to do. So can you see your website here? They've already done the layout for you. So what you just do is just to edit. I don't know who asked me that question, that can you have websites that are like ready-made? Yes, you can have websites that are like ready-made, but it's also still very important that you understand where to place what you have to place so that you do the right thing, right? So in this case, you can see where your link is supposed to be. If you don't know what a link is, you'll not be able to easily like edit this website to follow these formats. So you can re-edit it, you can add some text, you can even add more styles if you want it to exactly fit what you want. So that's that about websites. So let's also look at math functions, right? So CSS has math functions which allow you to do mathematical expression. So this expression can be used as properties values, right? An example is cal, maximum, and minimum functions. So the cal function performs a calculation to be used as a property value. So we can use this cal function in our calculator, right? So I don't know if I should dive into this, if you guys will understand, because this special is not difficult, but it's more of like, it's more of JS, right? It's more of JavaScript than it is let's just let that slide. We'll get to see it in JavaScript. I don't want to confuse you. So we'll look at responsive and we'll look at grid. We'll look at responsive and we'll look at grid. You can also check out everything. We can obviously not finish it before the class ends, but it's just important that we know some things. So for your responsive websites, I've been saying it from the HTML, just so that you can use your website when it's in a desktop form, tablet, and in a phone. So this is an example of one, right? And don't forget, this is where the meta element is very, very important. The meta name that has viewpoint content name, always make sure you put it. So you can see that they kept all of this in a role, class name, header, menu, their navbar is by the left, is an horizontal navbar they did here. Then we have the footer, right? So you can see the width they kept. They specify the width if it's going to be for what? If it's going to be for only screen and mid width. That's for mobile phones. And for desktop, they already said for mobile phones, this is the class you should inherit. For tablets, this is it. For desktop, so they say column 1, which should be 8.3%, like that, like that, like that. So all this column is the one. I don't know if you guys have heard of Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a framework of CSS whereby most of the CSS attributes or most of the CSS design has a class name. So they've written a class name for all the CSS styles that you need. So what you just be doing is that you just be calling the class name to fit the website you're trying to create, right? And like I'm still mentioned this morning, that is good for you to know the end from the beginning, that you have an idea of what your website should look like, so that it will give you a direction of how you're going to style it and what your markup is going to be. So what a viewpoint is just the user's visible area of a web page. So it's how the user wants to use your website. Do they want to use it through desktop, or they want to use it through tab, or they want to use it through a phone, right? So when you're using the internet with your tablet, phones, and whatever, your web pages are too big to fit the viewpoints. So to fix this, the browsers on those device scale down the entire web page to fit this page. So that's what your viewpoint.
Sorry, Miss Titi. I'm so sorry to cut you off. I want to quickly make an announcement.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm so sorry. I just got an information now that there will be a soft skill section by 1 p.m. So, Miss Titi, you can check the facilitators group. They just dropped it there. So, please, by 1 p.m., the group will be shared across. So please, you can join when it's 1 p.m. for the soft skills. Thank you very much. And for the Muslims, if you can go for your prayers. I'm not stopping you. Thank you.
Thank you. So that's for setting the viewpoint, right? Then we also have size content to the viewpoint. There are some additional rules you must follow. You don't use large fixed width elements. You don't let the content rely on a particular viewpoint to render well. You use your CSS media queries to apply different styling screens, right? There's also a grid view. So many websites are based on grid view, which means that the page is divided into columns. The grid just basically means that your website is in columns, right? That is, your website is in columns. So it just means that you're dividing your website. So there are some dramatic websites whereby you can have like 4 columns or like close to like 12. The highest actually 12 that you can get in a line. So this just helps you see. A positive grid view often has 12 columns, and that's a total of 1%, 100%, and will shrink and expand as you resize your website. So if you have 12 columns on your web, when you're looking at it through your web and from your tab, when you're looking at it through your phone, your tablet, your phone, your normal phone, there's no way it's going to show 12 columns because the width side is too small for the 12 columns. So it will surely shrink. It will not be 12 columns literally. But when you're using it in your web browser, it's what? It gets back to its normal stage and normal size and everything. So if I talk about this media queries, you don't understand it because we've not really seen it from media queries, the normal media queries, but I'll just try my best. So you can build a responsive grid view using box sizing, box border. It helps your grid be in a particular border, right? So there are columns. So all these columns should be float left and have a padding. So if you want to build your website, you can just come here and copy all these width size of something, 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 and add it to your web page so that your responsivity can help, because now they've helped you divided, they've like help you divide the width that you should have. Like if it's column 1, you should have this width. If it's column 2, you should have this width. So you can add this to your CSS, but what you just do is that you just ensure that you give it the right class name, right? That you give it the right class name of maybe does column 1 or does column 2 if you will need column 1 or column 3, because they've given you the exact width that you will need for you to achieve that. So you can click on try it yourself, right, to see how that works. So for your media query, a media query is just a CSS technique that was just introduced in CSS3, and it just helps you include your words if you are trying to add maybe images, videos, and all of that, right? So the media query, the rule is to include a block of CSS only if a certain condition is true. That is, if that condition is true, do this. If it's not true, don't do it. This reminds me of Boolean, which you later come across in JavaScript. So in this case, they're saying that if the window browser is 600 pixels or smaller, and the background should be light blue. So it's telling it what to do when you have what, a larger screen or a bigger screen. So if your screen is bigger than 600 pixels, it's not change to light blue. But the moment when it's 600 pixels and lesser, it will change to what, light blue. And also helps you add a breaking point to what you're doing. And it always helps you design for mobile and also for another breaking point. This responsive is just showing you how you can design different types of devices when you need to, right? So that's the idea behind this responsive, including also this image. Please pay attention to the image, because it's this image that makes our website not look as appealing as it should. Imagine if you open a website and the image is already distorted. You'll not be gingered, actually. You'll not be excited to be on that web page, because you're like, what's this kind of website is this? That everything just looks somehow, right? So it's very important we understand responsivity with our image also, so that it will help our image not look distorted or shabbily, and not give our website what it's supposed to give. So see this image now, you can see that this background, it did not cover this place completely. And if you try to expand it, this is what you have, right? So it does not look, you either use that resized image that I showed us over the web, or we use something like this, making a background size property and set it to 100% of 100%, and the background will stretch to cover the entire content. So for those of us, wow, what was that ad? So for those of us that our background image that we added was not completely covering, so we can add this property, background size, and put 100%, 100%, so that it makes our background image actually stretch and it will not have to repeat and cover, right? And if the property is set to cover, the background will scale to cover the entire content area. And also, there are different images for different device. What would fit for tab will obviously not fit for images. So you just need to pay attention to all of that, including videos. There's a way you can add your videos. There's a video element. You can, I don't know if you saw that in HTML, but there's an element to add video to your website if you want to add video to your website. Then this is the framework that I spoke about. So W3 Square has their own framework, and Bootstrap also has their own framework. Anybody can write a framework on CSS, but just be sure that you write like many million classes, right? You write a lot of classes, because your class is going to cover any possible design that your CSS would have. And there are also templates, right, that you can use. There are templates for different things, art, architect, then different kind of thing for blog too. If you want a particular blog, you can get templates. If you want food blog, you can get templates. Now to create a website is not as difficult as it used to be, because you can see a lot of templates. So can you see this? So this is a template. So if you don't even like this design, you can edit it and change the template to fit what you want, and you have your food blog, and you're okay, and you're happy, and everybody is fine. But at the same time, don't do a lazy work. You can always try to put in the work, and you can build from scratch. But if you don't want to build from scratch, make sure you're not doing a lazy work with the templates that you have. Ensure that you still do all the things that you ought to do, especially in cases whereby you must have you must have responsive. So can you see it? This is also a fashion blog. They've given you the templates. You can just edit it and all of those things. But the group work will be doing. Don't edit though. I want you to put in your CSS and everything. I want to see your practice. Then this for your CV. If you want to do a portfolio CV one, you can do this. You can edit this, right? You write your name, you say what you do, where you live, your email, your phone number, your skills. You say what you can do, the languages you can speak, your work experience, your education, and all of those things. Can you see that? So they've made making a website actually very, 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 very easy. The beautiful templates that we have. This for wedding invitation. If you want to create something for your wedding, so you can use something like this. So can you see? These are really beautiful templates. Now, if you want to edit this one, you will know how to edit it. You will know how to change the images. You know when to write what you want to write. And all of those things, right? So someone that created all these websites, and you too, you can create yours. This is another portfolio one. This is for someone that is a photographer. That's all the pictures they've done, or they've snapped. There are a couple of templates. This is another one. I'm sure by now, if you see a website, a lot of things is already coming to your head. You're already trying to look at how they put the nav bar, the kind of grid they use, the type of column, the CSS and all of those things. When you see a website, it's not more like before that you cannot relate to how everything was built upon each other. But now you can make meaning out of it. Can you see this one? The nav bar is even in the middle. The nav bar is not up the way your nav bar will normally be up. So this is your own portfolio. Okay, this is a one-page website, and your contacts. Can you see that all of this is in one page? So I'm sure they would have done a section, right? So we also have people portfolio. So you can edit this, you can put your name, you can put your images, how much you charge, how people should contact you, your blog posts. And this is your people portfolio website too. There are quite a lot of portfolio websites. You can check everything, right, to give you inspiration, and you can recreate any of these portfolio websites at your own leisure, right? So do you guys want to work in groups, or you want only you to build your own website that you'll be doing for your project? I want response.
Group is better, ma.
Group is
Can
better.
you
All
please
right.
repeat yourself?
Two or
I
three
did not
groups.
hear you well.
Two or three groups is better.
Okay. How many? I said that. How would you guys love your project to be? So your project is more like a problem statement, right? And you're trying to solve that problem using using a web page, right? So I'll give you your projects more of like in a project statement. So I was saying that would you guys want your project to be individual or I
Good
should group
afternoon, ma.
it? Good afternoon.
Sorry for cutting you. I was just wondering that wouldn't it be better for everyone to do it individually so that everyone actually develops the skills necessary so that it's not a situation where one person is doing a larger share of the work within the groups and not everyone actually gets the skills.
Yes, please. I second that too.
Okay, but it's just that it will be a lot of work on your part, and we just have from Tuesday to Wednesday to deliver.
Oh, just Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yes. So the thing is that Tuesday to Wednesday, so you'll be doing it in class, you'll be doing it at your spare time. But we have Tuesday to Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just 3 days to ensure that you finish, because on Friday will be your demo. Like I'll see what you've done and I'll grade you, right? So on Friday next week will be more like a review of what you've done. And I said I'm going to give you a problem statement because there are some things I'll be watching out for. It will be more of like when you're going for hackathon. Has anybody been in an hackathon before?
No.
Yes, but it was not a coding hackathon.
Oh, it was not a coding hackathon. All right. And you can also try UI UX, right? It's not something difficult. I guess you should have started the class with that. I would have shown you how you can use basic UI UX to just draw a basic website, right? But you see, they also build a calculator here using a grid system. So can you see that? So there's not always, it's in writing your code to achieve something. It's not always now one way belle face. I don't know if you understand what I mean. Like, it's not always like you have to follow a particular format for you to achieve a result. In most cases, there are different ways. You just have to be creative about it and know what you're trying to do for you to get different results that you want to get. So I guess this is the time where I entertain questions. Then I also want us to take the HTML quiz, right? Today, like now, right about now. I said I was going to do that thing, but I kept forgetting. Like, I want to see. So everybody's going to take the test, then you tell me your results, like now. It contains 40 questions and there's no time limit. So before the class comes to an end, I want all of us to take the HTML quiz. I know we cannot take the CSS quiz now because we've not yet fully understood the CSS. Yeah, I know I've not fully understood the CSS. So has everybody got into the exercise? And what's the conclusion on the group page?
Ma, please, you should do it in teams. It will be better and it will be faster.
For the group, right?
Yes, and it's only people that are active that you should pair up with so that others that would not want to participate will not drag the project down. We get, because the time frame is very short.
Mm-hmm. But don't you think too don't you think it will be unfair on their part, whereby there are 3 people that are not active and they don't even know what's going on, they don't know what to do. But at least
Okay, you can just I feel maybe you can just maybe create a form on Google and then you share it to the group. Like, people that are interested in participating in the project, they should indicate interest. So at least that would be more fair, like we fair to everybody.
But in the real sense, it should not be about people that are interested. The group is for everybody that are in class. So everybody that in class should participate. It should not be to people that are interested. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yes, I understand, but some people might not like be
They
in
are
the
not
class
staying in this
now.
process, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I have a whole weekend to think over it, but I will give you a good like this thing.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, afternoon, man. Based on the group project of a team, it's a fine idea. But from my end, I'm not looking at it like, okay, yeah, some people are just joining, some people haven't gotten the grasp. To some people, it looks so fast, it's happening in real time. And if you want to go with the group, there's nothing bad with the group project. But I just feel how well will people collaborate
You guys will
effectively?
still do more
Once
projects. This is not the only
I know,
project
I know
you do.
clearly. I know.
But
What I'm just
because for
suggesting
my
is
own part to end, right? For my own part to end, you guys have to put in the HTML and CSS that me have taught you. You will still do React, you will still do JavaScript, you will still
obviously.
work on
So I'm like,
maybe then you work on a personal project.
if you want to do it, why not just shuffle yourself? Like, people that have the strong holds of this thing. Like, don't just do it randomly. Like, you
No,
specifically,
obviously, I
okay,
will
this
not do
person
it
just come in.
randomly.
Uh-huh.
That's why I've been telling people to submit their assignments that I was going to use it for the grouping. So I'll use it to do all the grouping and all of that over the weekend. But I guess I'll still create a Google form because I don't have a capture of everybody. Because if I think, I don't want to look at it with everybody that is on the group. There's some people that are part of this, but they are not like they're on the group, but they are not more active. Like they don't do what they ought to do.
Miss Titi.
Yes.
Okay, about the submission, there's no link for us to submit the assignment now. At least there's some I've done. There's no way I can submit them.
The ones that you
There's
were
no.
dropping on the group chat to call. The ones
Now I'm
that
saying I can't. I'm not using my phone. I done my WhatsApp web. I don't know. It's not working on my laptop.
so you've not been active on the WhatsApp.
I'm active, but I'm not doing the assignment and keeping. I've not submitted.
Oh.
Because my WhatsApp web is not, it's not opening at all. It takes forever to open. I don't know if it's because of the size or I don't know.
All right, no problem. I'll find a way around it, but I'm going to use the whole of the weekend to put something up for us. And if you want to learn more, right, we can also look at this thing, the link I sent to us to watch that calculator project, right? So for
Okay.
that calculator project, we can check. Do you understand?
Yes, no.
So we should also check that place, that calculator front end masters that I sent. You can just go over those videos to just strengthen what you already know and what I've already learned in class. Then on Monday, I'm going to, but before Monday, everybody should have had a GitHub account, right? Let's all have a GitHub account. I'm going to take us through all that we need to know on GitHub. Then I would also group us. Then we can start our project. Then we'll start working on it. Like that, like that, like that.
Hello.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I have a question, please. I was unable to complete the class yesterday. So how many assignments do we have now?
Huh?
I was unable to complete the class yesterday. Like I didn't wait to the end of the class. So I don't know the number of assignments.
What do you say?
Assignments. What are the assignments that you give to us?
So the assignment for today is the form. Apart from the form, make your website responsive, and also go through all the CSS. that we didn't go through together. So that's the homework.
Hello, ma.
Yes.
Ma, please, I'm sorry. Oh, my data just finished now, and my network logged me out. I didn't get the quiz. Are we taking it now?
Yes, we are supposed to have been taking the quiz. You're supposed to have been taking the quiz as you're asking questions. The
Okay, the
question was based on
HTML
how to
quiz.
use your, yes, how to know your stuff.
Okay, thank you, ma. I wanted to ask you something on how to use Hover.
On how to use what?
How to use that pseudo class element.
Pseudo class, pseudo class.
Pseudo class element. That one that when you
Okay,
click
okay,
your
okay,
mouse
okay.
over it. I was trying to do it to those my Facebook, Twitter, and the other one. I didn't get it, Sha.
Okay, you share your screen and show me. Don't worry, I'm coming. Are we all taking the quiz?
I'm on it.
Okay.
Yes, ma.
Okay.
I'm taking, ma.
Sorry, ma. Please, I'm trying to find the HTML quiz. Okay.
You should be done with the quiz now. Is anybody done?
Yes, I'm done, ma. My system will soon go off.
Okay, what did you have? Someone had 72. That's good.
I had 85.
Okay. Where did you make mistake? Is it some things that we've not done?
Is it going to show me my where the questions I missed? I did not see that part there.
Oh, you didn't see show you the question. But did you see things that were strange? That's what I'm asking. I would have made you had 85.
Oh, okay. I think okay, it's showing me. Let me see the things that I missed.
Okay, yeah, check.
Okay, it's okay. This choose the correct HTML element to define an important text. I picked
That's
important.
strong now. It's
I
not
did not.
important. It's strong.
Yeah, yes. And which other one? Okay, I'm going through. And this one, what is the correct HTML for making a drop down list?
That would be
Ah,
select.
exactly. I don't know. I did not see select before. Oh my
Select.
goodness.
Hello, Miss Titi.
Yeah?
Yes.
So sorry, can we start rounding up because of the soft skill so they
All
can
right.
join the class?
All
Thank
right.
you.
No problem. So we've all gotten our assignments, right? And we know you guys tell me your this thing tomorrow on Monday. So me, I'm done, I'll see you guys on Monday. So we are done. Do you have any questions? Does anybody have any questions?
But maybe on Monday I'll ask you about that hover stuff.
Okay, all right. So we can end. As someone at 97, scholar. Who is that scholar? 92, 75. I have scholar guys in this room. That's great.
Miss Titi, can we leave the meeting now? My system
Yeah,
is
so
almost.
I say I'm done. I'm done with us.
Okay. So please, I want to get the assignments right again. You said we should make our profile to be responsive and we should also add some styles to our forms, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So let me just end this meeting so that we can move to other things we have to do. Okay, bye everybody. See you.